Casey was like Fergie, she was that glue.
Hi, my name is Nikhil and this is Mumbai Se Manchester. In today's video, we have Natalie, who is the chief editor for women's football at the United Journal. She's also the founder for the Manchester United Women's Supporters Club and a host for All for United Women's FC. Natalie and I talk about various issues and stories that are affecting Manchester United women's team, John Murtough, Casey Stoney's departure, and much more. Before we go any further, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button so that you get notifications when we roll out new content.
So basically the issue is that I think if you have read the Athletic article, it was by Adam Crafton. He's sort of said, there was issues with the training facilities that was brought up by Casey Stoney. That's why she left. Moving between LSP, the Cliff, Carrington. Finally, they settled on Carrington. But there's talks of being in a porta cabin, no toilets, no showers. These issues were supposed to be resolved, and apparently people have come back and they're still not resolved. I don't think that they're not going to resolve them, but apparently it's going to take longer than what was expected. So there's a frustration in that. There's a frustration in, I think when Casey was there, like the accommodation. I think the accommodation is nice, but I suppose when you compare it to City, Chelsea, we're putting in thousands, maybe millions, and, I think not a lack of interest, but just a lack of understanding of maybe the women's game and understanding of what's expected, especially, a big club, Manchester United, we need the best, and the girls obviously feel like it's not the best, and it wasn't resolved maybe to their liking. And then obviously now we're all waiting for a manager, Casey, like I said, Casey left in May. It's now July. Yeah, it's gonna take a long time. You want to get the right one, but you would think they would at least feed it into like the senior leaders, the assistant coach, the captain, the vice captain. These are people that you should be able to trust and should be able to tell. But it sounds like no one knows, no one's the wiser. The board knows, but players, they're being asked to come back and start training, and they don't know really the direction we're going in. And it's all right to say us in here not knowing, but you would think your players are your key assets. You should be keeping them in your thoughts all the time, and it seems like that's not what's happened. For me, I think the PFA, though, it might be a good thing. Obviously it is negative. You don't want to see it. You want us to believe that we're doing it right, but we're new to women's football. We're 3 years in, so I think the PFA maybe might help us, show us the way that we're to do it. I mean, us as fans are learning, the club are learning, players are learning. This is how we got to do it right. And I think there should be no shame in sort of maybe looking at other clubs and saying this is how they've done it. Let's try and do it the same way. Obviously, the United way, the traditional way, but it's not going to be right. So you need to sort of learn the right ways, right processes, and how it works in women's football, because it is different ways of operating.
Right. So has the team actually, or the players have actually officially submitted their request, or they approached PFA? Has that happened?
I don't know if it's definitely happened yet. Obviously, it's just that one report where it came out. We're waiting to see if the PFA have commented. I don't think they have. I don't know if they will. It might just be a select number of players, but enough that they can go. I mean, I think people are approaching the PFA all the time. It's not, it's like your trade union. Say, for example, I've approached my trade union for different things, but that doesn't mean, as a collective, I suppose my whole office is doing it, so people are approaching them probably every day, from all different leagues, men's and women's, Premier League, Championship. It's not, just this women's problem, but it's things when you read things like, and I know we're probably going to go into the talking about striking, and that's when you think, right, there's an issue and the union does need to be involved. That's how you look at the PFA. It's like a union. It's there to protect the workers' rights. And, I think the fact that they've had to maybe come out with this story, it's sort of trying to create something, make United react, make them respond, and it's unfortunate that's where we seem to be at. And we've seen it with the men's team. They only respond to crisis in a way. when people are running on the pitch, then we'll respond. Now the great, it's only in response to crisis rather than being proactive, thinking about it, consulting people, talking, I don't know why this is. I mean, I think when you used to Fergie was running it a lot, and I think Casey was like Fergie. She was that glue, and that was another way that she was the person who ran it. If you had a problem, you went to Casey, I mean, it was taught that she took it all the way up to Ed, and she saw Ed Woodward as a really good ally, and then he promised a lot, and now he's leaving. Obviously, no one's saying that he shouldn't leave, but that's her ally lost, in a way, and it's probably the final straw for her. And I do feel for Casey. I think she's a fantastic manager. She took us all this way, and it's just sad now I'm seeing what's happening because she built it from scratch. She left out of principle. She was crying when she left. I don't think she wanted to leave, but she sort of had to, and it's a sad. It was a sad day. It is still sad when you think about it. Imagine if Alex Ferguson, wasn't getting the backing and had to leave out of principle. That's where we're at, people. It's not. It's really bad, and it makes me sad thinking about why she left and all that. But I think we can move forward, though. I think it's not all negativity; it is positivity. But it's just where we go, and it's probably going to be a long process now.
Yeah, I'll come to the Casey piece because I really want to get to know more about what you just said about Casey's departure. But after this article from the Athletic, did the club issue any statement? Because I didn't see anything in particular on the club website. So have you heard anything, or has there been any kind of rumors coming from inside the club about what they make of this discontent amongst the players?
Well, they went to the club with the article, and the club put a statement in it. So for the club to respond like that, they've done 2 articles, and the club have made 2 statements, both inside their article. So I know, people have to pay for the Athletic, but if you do get the chance, do definitely read it, because there is a club statement in it where it says, no, they do support the women's team. They are making changes. They've brought in new coaches, new physios, new doctors, it says, so that they are putting that. So they've sort of come out and defended themselves in a way. They said it's a long process. I mean, there was part of a statement, it said they expect something within the next few days, but then that was at the weekend, so I don't know. But now the Euros is over, we're hearing Sancho was done, maybe they will hear something in the next few days. That's what I was sort of touched on before, reactionary, instead of, and I mean, yeah, they have recruited staff. It's great, so talk about it first. Don't wait for an article that's negative to then release a statement and tell everyone what's going on. And that's a bit of a bugbear, I think, for all fans, isn't it? With United, you don't know what's happening, and then they'll suddenly release a statement in reaction to something rather than thinking about it, consulting. I mean, this is a lot what came out of the fans forum. They need to listen to the fans' voice more. The fans are really important. So, it's about, I suppose, fast-tracking a lot of those things that was said, and all the promises that were made.
Right. And one of the promises I did read about was that the women's team will be able to use the Carrington facility starting this season, and I'm really hoping they get to do that because those facilities are supposed to be world class. So I'm really hoping that happens.
No, they are, to be honest, and they are training from Carrington. They're not moving back to any other way. I think there is a long-term plan that all the teams will train from there, so from the girls, under 10s upwards, at the minute it's just the first team, but yeah, we have an academy, we have an under 21 team, so long-term plans is that all women's football will be from there, and everyone will be from there. Obviously, we're not at that point yet, but the first team are definitely going to be training there, and like I say, that's one promise kept. It's just about improving the facilities that they get when they're there, and I think it's going to take longer than what we expected due to planning permission and all this kind of stuff. You have to sign a lot of forms, and apparently the form was late. I don't know how true that is as well, but this is what they're saying in the Athletic, and it just doesn't look good, I suppose, isn't it? I suppose we knew there were issues with the training. You said you're going to fix them, and to do it late, and they're going to be in the season when the fix is made. It's just
right.
It's
lot of reactionary stuff, just as we are seeing in case of men's football. right? There has to be, if the club is, say, the club is actually doing, let's assume the club is doing all the work that we feel they should be doing. Why not put out a plan in front of the fans with milestones, right? So that you know that then the fans can come and say, hey, you were supposed to do it by this year or this month. So what's the status? Right. So I think that is one of the bad part of current management, like the communication piece of it. And given the players are thinking of going to PFA, or even if there are a few of the players thinking of doing that, it clearly shows that even to the players, things are not being communicated well. Um, Going back to Casey's topic, actually. So I was personally very surprised given the seasons that we had with her. We won the championship, and I think we won the championship in style. Like we were miles ahead of the other teams in the championship in 2018, 2019. Last season, last to last season wasn't that bad. And this season, we lost on the Champions League place by 1 point. So my one of my questions was, what's the real reason? Like, is she going to a different club, or was it the I also read that the club wanted her to stay. Why would she leave? Like, what is your personal opinion about it?
I think it's like what I've said. She built this club from scratch. Not in a horrible way, but she brought in those 21 players, like you said, that stormed the championship. For me, the championship attendance, record attendance, they went up. Man United, every time, I'm like you said, founders of the supporters club, so I took buses of a little coach of 5 people who've never watched women's football, and we've had 2 massive coaches, 20, 30 people going down to London to watch women's football and shouting and singing and flags, and anyone who ever watches women's football when in the championship, the attendances were selling out everywhere every time Man United came. And so that's what she wanted. She wanted to change the face of women's football, and she fought with a club with a name, Man United. Everyone loves Man United, let's not, and our rivals might say this and that, but it's true. We were on the verge, we were doing so well, and I think she was just shocked at like we said, it happens in men's football, but maybe she didn't expect it. Maybe she expected a bit better. Maybe she didn't expect them to be as reactionary. I remember reading Willie Kirk, he's Everton manager now, but he was the Man United assistant manager in the first season. He said, everything Casey wants, she gets. And where I sort of laughed, but when I think about it, it was true. And the way she had to fight to get these facilities, to do this, to do that, she probably felt a bit let down. What I thought, we were on the same page, we wanted to do things, and we wanted to progress. We were on the verge of, like you say, 1 point off Champions League. We were sitting at top half the season. For me, that's the time when you put your foot down. Mm-hmm. But she's having to fight to train at Carrington. If you're top of the league, you shouldn't have to fight for anything. You should be given it. You should be handed the golden platter, keys to the castle. And it didn't happen. I think, the people say she's linked to San Diego, which is a US NWSL club. But they're throwing money at it, millions and millions. And, who's heard of San Diego in a minute? They've not even probably got a men's team, but they're throwing money at it through businesses or whatever to get to the top. They want to be the best team in the world. And, there's Jill Ellis, who's US women's national team coach, who's just resigned. She's won 2 World Cups, 2 gold medals, all this kind of thing. They're putting time and effort. So if she is going to a place like that, can you blame her when she's having to fight here at home for something it's there? Man United is could be anything, but instead we're seeing players go to the PFA when we should be seeing players lift trophies. And like you say, it's the same with the men's team. It looks like Ollie's sort of changed that round, but before Ollie, we had Jose, we had Louis van Gaal, and whatever you think of their tactics, their play, whatever, they had to fight to get players in. And no manager should have to do that, Right. And especially, like I said, at the top, at doing this, storming the league, and it's sad. It's sad to see. I'm also part of, if people know, but like Man United Supporters Trust, and obviously they're the ones who are behind a lot of this, sign for United. I don't know if people have seen it, but, and I encourage people because our voices matter. I love Man United more than anything, and I love the women's team as well. And it's just sad viewing at the minute. I hope they're going to change it around, and I think they will, but for me, it should be, if someone's saying I've done something wrong, I'm working my damn hardest. I'm not saying people aren't working, but I'm going to make sure all the paperwork's in on time. I'm going to make sure it's in extra early, and it just seems to be ticking along, quiet, slow, and you can't be like that, I suppose, when you're in a bit of a downward spiral. You need to work hard and work fast to make sure you get out of it.
Yeah, and when she would have compared herself with the leaders at the top, right? Chelsea, they have Emma Hayes for 9 years, going on to 10 years now. I'm pretty sure the way they have performed, I was checking out Chelsea's record. They reached the Champions League final. They won the league this time around, and they have been in and around that for quite some time. So I guess Casey would have seen that comparison as to what she is getting, or even the City coach is getting. I don't recollect the name of the City's coach, but they would have seen what they're getting. And as you said, things are not just reactionary, they are planning well to ensure that the team is successful. And I saw the results, like there were just three teams above us: Arsenal, City, and Chelsea. We gave them quite a good fight. Like, there were a few draws. We also won one or two of the games, but we gave them a good fight. Like, just coming, this being just our second season in the league, I felt like it was unfortunate that we lost Casey here. But moving on from there, so I did read your article, and you did mention three names who might be good successes, or possible successes. Are there any particular names that are coming out from the club hierarchy, or any sources that you have?
Not really at the minute. I mean, I've heard a rumour of Quinton Fortune, but for me, he's done well, and he's taken our 23s before. But I talked about Charlotte Hooley. Anyone who read my article, I prefer someone with a women's background, with women's experience. And for me, if we're going to do it internal recruitment, I'd want someone like her to do it rather than Quinton. I mean, I'm not denying he's a good coach, but I'd rather that. I think just all that I've heard is that it's likely to be someone from abroad, maybe. And I know I did mention a few names from abroad. I can't even remember. Gerard Percouche, who is I don't even know where he's working, but he was ex-Lyon, and that's someone high caliber, won Champions League, and he's apparently, I've been reading a lot, interested. So whether they're chasing him, I don't know, because Lyon, they put in a lot of money. I'm not saying he's a money manager. He did bring through a lot of youth, but he will be expecting a certain standard, and it's whether they want a manager like that probably, like Casey might say this isn't good enough and walk away, or I don't know. I think the fact that the players don't know, that's frustrating to me. I don't need to know. We don't. Fans, we would like to know, but the fact that I'm hearing the important people don't know, that's a bit concerning for me.
Yeah. In anyone's line of work, right? If you're a manager, you would like to know, okay, who are you going to report to next, right? Who are you going to learn from? So yeah, it's unfortunate. By the way, Gerard, you mentioned, I recollect he currently is in the Chinese Super League, I think you have written. And the other name you had mentioned was the current Levante coach, because she has been working on a shoestring budget. I'm sorry, I don't recollect the name though. So another question that I had, given the performance that we had last season, the kind of style that we had, obviously you did mention the number of players leaving this season, this summer. I think there have been around 5 players who have left, 2 of which whom have been strikers. But are there any particular areas that you think we should invest in to take us to the next level and be competitive as Chelsea?
Definitely up front. I think I talked about Tobin and Kristen leaving. They're world-class players, Tobin especially. So we need to bring in that kind of calibre again, in my opinion. That's where we're missing out a lot. That's why I think potentially we didn't get Champions League. We don't score enough goals. You see Chelsea and Arsenal and City, they put like 5-6 past teams, really, just beating teams 3-0. And I know, 3 points is 3 points, but we need to get people who are going to score. We create a lot of chances, can always create more, but we need to get an out-and-out goal scorer. That's, you look at the top teams, they're scoring 20 plus goals and Sam Kerr, top goal scorer, about 20 odd. Vidham and Miedemar for Arsenal behind that at 18, 19. We need someone that's going to score that many league goals, and our top league goal scorer is Ella Toon. Fantastic season, one of her best seasons, but she scored about 10 league goals, and that's from midfield. So we haven't got the strikers that are banging in goals, and we need an out-and-out number 9 world class. I don't know if we're going to get him. I don't know who's available, but we need to really, be doing it, like we've done with Sancho. We needed that right winger. We put our money in the pocket and we went out and got him, and that's what we need to see. That there was a statement when United said in the Athletic, and it said once the manager, or along the lines of aggressive recruitment. We've seen it in the men's team. That's what they've gone out and just targeted everyone. So for me, I think forward wingers. There's talk that we have potentially signed. I don't know if anyone Villa Boa Risa, quality, played for Norway international, creates a lot of chances again. But it's all about creating chances and having players create chances, but you need someone to score them, and we need like a 15 goal plus. And I think Alessia Risa, she started out very well. She can get that many, but she's a young girl, 21. We need an experienced striker who wants to play here and wants to sort of the adulation, be like Cavani. The way everyone loves Cavani, we need someone like that, who's just, no matter what, they're just going to score goals, and that's it.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned Sancho in there. I hope the women's team doesn't have to wait that long to fill the gap, right? It took a good 10 years for us to get a proper right wing, a player who can play on that right wing. So I'm really hoping the experienced striker you're talking about, we're able to land this summer, and that takes us to that next level. So with Ed Woodward leaving, I'm not sure when his official date to depart is. His name has been mentioned as instrumental in completing the Sancho signing, and probably also getting this current deal that is being discussed for Varane and also for Kamavinga probably. But I guess at one stage he would leave. Are there any other names that are being linked who would be filling in his shoes? Because I heard Richard Arnold was one that would be a likely successor from within. And similarly, there were a couple of other names like Cliff Batty and Hemen Seo. But are there any other names that outside the club who are being linked with us?
Well, you'd like to, for me, my personal opinion, this is just opinions, I don't know, but I'd like to see Edwin van der Sar. I think he's done a fantastic job at Ajax. I think he knows the club. I think that's what we need to get back to. People who, I'm not saying Ed doesn't know, and doesn't love it, and Richard Arnold doesn't love it, but I just think we need to get back to the heartbeat. I think we've lost a bit of it. I think we need to get back to people who know what the fans want. And for me, Edwin, he knows business. He's doing it at Ajax. We bought Donny off him, but I think he knows about development of players. For me, he's a standout candidate. He's one I'd want. People might say I'm being romantic, and there's better people out there. Probably there are, but for me, Edwin van der Sar.
Yeah, and it seems like, so this is not like a player that you're signing, right? Even players get announced pre-summer and things like that. So I'm really surprised the fact that Woodward was leaving was mentioned so many weeks ago. I was hoping the club would already have a name that they would come out and say, hey, we are interviewing and we will announce that name by such and such date. So I'm again surprised there. Van der Sar, as you mentioned, I'm pretty sure if you ask any United fan, they would take Van der Sar in a heartbeat. Like he loves the club to the bits, and yeah, he can bring the heart and passion that is really needed. And fans currently do not associate Woodward with that passion. So you might know more about Woodward, but a lot of fans at the face level, they don't really feel the connect with him. What do you think about Richard Arnold? Because he seems like a likely candidate, just succeeding from within.
Yeah, like you said, succeeding from within. I've not heard anything. I wouldn't say there was a lot of negative reports about Ed, wasn't there? I think people sort of associated him with, a lot of the failures, a lot of what happened when Moyes came in, Van Gaal, Jose. Whereas Richard Arnott, we're not really heard from. We just hear from him sort of delivering the reports, and you know, he's a name probably that's come out a bit more to fans, a bit more. So when his name was talked, people just thought, oh yeah, it's just from in another one. And yeah, you know, like I said, it would just be what I'd expect, I suppose, from United. That's sort of what they do. They do like to recruit from within. You know, John Murtough has moved from working with the academy, working with the women's team, and now he's the director of football. So, you know, that's sort of the United way to do it from within. But like I said, it's also the way to bring in people who love the club and want the best. You know, we saw they brought in Fletch. So, you know, and like I said, I wouldn't ever criticise Richard Arnold. I don't really know what he does, but it's not a criticism of that. It's just, you know, he just supposed gets on with his business. You don't hear from him. It's just boom, you know, done it. So yeah, he might be good role for him to take up.
You did mention a bit about John Murtough at the right start of the video, actually. What can you share about John with us? Because we do know the very high level things, right? We know that he was part of the FA in terms of youth development and all. Prior to that, he was at Everton, where when David Moyes was there at Everton, and he brought him over, and so on. What is he like a person, and what kind of experience does he bring to the table? Because some fans do still not know. Even I do not know a whole lot. Our questions are on the lines of, okay, how can he convince a big name player to join United? And in the past, say the team of Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill, if they decided on the player, they would make sure they would get it. Can John Murtough do that? Does he have that pull? Does he have that convincing power? What kind of personality is he to help do that?
John's a nice person. And I know John just through watching games at the women's team, and it's always been nice. He's always been welcoming. He's always been friendly. And I think that's what goes far. You know, we've heard people talk about Woodward and Matt Judge and all these kind of people, negative things, negative. They don't answer the phone. They don't do this. They don't get back to you. Whereas John is a person who I've only met him a couple of times, but I would say it's a person I can trust, you know, and I don't know what's going on in terms of, this is just in terms of me interacting with him at a football match, you know. This is not me sitting down and seeing all his business plans. This is just me interacting with him as a football match. And, you know, he didn't have to speak to me. What does he get from speaking to me? Nothing, you know, but he does help me. If I'm struggling with something, he'll help me out. So, and it's not big things, it's just like, oh, can I have a team sheet? You know, just little nothingness. Or you'll just come over and have a chat and say, how are you, how's everything? So, for me, like, you know, he's personable, and that's what I think probably I've missed. It's been very, not cold, but, you know, like you said, you hear people, they don't know this, don't turn up at meetings, they don't answer the phone. You need someone who's nice, down to earth, genuine, family, you know, community. This is what Man United is built on. That's what I think Fergie and David Gill did so well. They made people fall in love, and this is why you should come, and this is what it's about, and this is why I love, you know, speaking to the person rather than just speaking numbers and this and that and being very clinical. You know, it's more, you know, you've got to convince the person. It's about people first, and you know, John's a nice person. That's what I will say. I mean, don't come back and shout at me if it all goes wrong. But as a person, he's a nice guy. So for me, I think that's the first step. And you know, it sounds like, other than stuff that's going on with the ministry, it sounds like for the men's team, he's actually doing quite well. And you know, they say in meetings he's nice. He sorts things out. He does this, and like I said, it's saying he's going above and beyond for people, and you know, I felt he went above and beyond for me, and he doesn't owe me anything. I'm just a fan who paid my money. So, you know, if he's doing that for me, obviously he'll be doing that for our players and stuff like that. You know, he wants the best for them, and you know, I'm happy for him. If he, you know, as a person, he's a good guy, but you know, don't hold me to if it all goes wrong. And Natalie said this, but I'm only judging it off couple of minutes each game, you know, what happens day to day, I don't know. Sancho, I think he'll fit right in. I think he'll just slide right in. It's sort of, I don't know, when we're playing against teams which are like high block, low block, whatever you want to say it, sit back, four defenders, four midfielders, and a striker, all sit back. I think that's what we need. We need someone left and right, beating 5 or 6 players, winning free kicks. Not no one's winning anything, but you know what I mean. Rivals will listen to me and we're winning this, but someone that's going to get fouled, get penalties, get free kicks, put crosses into the box and get it on ahead. That's what Cavani's all about. Bang. Them goals that we've seen him score, Southampton, Spurs, get it in the box on Cavani's head and watch him score. And I think we've seen last season, Rashford was, say, on the right or on the left, and we were sort of missing that other side. I mean, I know Mason played there, but for me, I think he's better down the middle. So Sancho will just sort of take that pressure off Mason. I think it's going to be a lot of interchanging. I mean, I think Cavani's going to play, but he might not play as much. And I think you'll see a lot of Mason down the middle, but I think that'll all change. I think fluidity, I think that's when we're playing our best football, it's pass. Everyone's moving in between, Bruno, this and that. And, not being predictable, not being like go down the side, back to the middle, across the ball, some big toe centre back heads it off. It's quick flowing football. That's what I think he's going to bring, Sancho, and I'm excited to see it. I mean, England, they've just, obviously, what happened with the Euros, it's not great, but it's good news for England. Rashford, Sancho, Greenwood, potentially Man United's front three. If those three play together, who knows, it could be England's front three soon.
One name you actually didn't mention in the attack was Marshall. I read an article on United Journal comparing his statistics with how he did in the 2019-20 season and then 2020-21 season, obviously which was marred by injuries to some extent. Would you know more, like, is the club actually actively looking to like use him in a bargain deal, like a swap deal kind of a thing, or Solskjaer has Marshall in his plans?
It's a strange one because obviously he got injured and then, he's in and now. He's not really pushed to the level, probably, that we've all expected. I love him. I love Tony Marshall. I remember when he first joined, I was there at that Liverpool game, he scored, and I was there at Everton when he scored that, the 50-minute, it was that 2-1 winner, and I don't think he's really pushed on since then. And, for me, I think Mason's, probably overtaken him, really, if we think about it. And now Sancho's come in. I'd love him to stay. But could we get someone better in? Could we, swap deal, like you said? Who would we get? I mean, it's cheeky, but try and do, like, swap deal for Harry Kane. I don't know, or swap deal for Son, or I don't think that'll happen. But I don't, I can see him staying, I can see him not staying. It's one of them. I suppose it's on him. What does he want to do? I don't think he's ever going to get forced out. But, Sancho, Greenwood and Rashford is the front three. I can see, being the front three for a lot of the season. And it's on other people, it's on Cavani, it's on everyone to work hard and make it so that their name is in there as that starting front three.
Right. Yeah. Like a deal, if we can get him for Kane or like a swap deal with Kane or even Grealish, because it seems like for Kane, it's just City and United constantly being linked. Whenever Fabrizio Romano has mentioned Kane's name here, Grealish seems to be bound to City, but that would be another area because I would love to see Grealish as playing either as a number 10 if Bruno is not available, or on the left side if, say, Rashford is unavailable, because I hear Rashford is going to undergo shoulder surgery, which might keep him out for 2-3 months. So you never know. And I'm really hoping Ahmad gets some games this season where he can show the talent he possesses, like on the right side, wherever he can fit in, actually. What are your thoughts about the current ongoing situation with Pogba? Like, it has been like a constant discussion point for all the fans, love or hate him. Like, that is always a pain point, in my opinion, where there is uncertainty or there are comments which kind of rile up the fans. I do get when I hear some comments because you're not getting it firsthand. You're hearing it from like somewhere. But Pogba possibly going to PSG, and then Kamavinga being linked with us. And like for Kamavinga, we are in with a serious, like we have a serious thought of trying to get him.
Pogba, I don't know. I want him to stay. Of course, I want him to stay, but it looks like he's maybe going to, he's got 1 year left and he'll stay for the year and he'll go on a free, and it's sad, but, potentially getting Camavinga in now, learn off Pogba, like sort of Mason has done with Cavani. Obviously, we got Cavani to stay, which is good, but it's just for another year. But, I want Pogba to stay, world class. And to be honest, I think last season is the best season I've seen him play. 100%. He's enjoying his football. He's loving it. Ollie has really brought the best out of him. And I'm a massive Ollie fan. I think what he's done, Ollie, sort of with the players, with the team, with the spirit. You can't deny it. No manager has done that for our team. And I know people say about his tactics, this and that. Yeah, that's not even admits it's not a strong point. Get better coaches in. Heard we get a set piece coach to work on things like that. So Ollie's done great for this club. There's talk of Ollie potentially signing a new deal. Love to see it. But Pogba, I don't know. I see why he would want to leave. But you want to win trophies. You want to be winning the Champions League. You want to be in the finals. You want to win in the league. When he's been here and he's Europa Leagues and a League Cup. It's not what he would have expected, and it's been up and down. We shouldn't be playing in the Europa League. We should be able to get out of the group in the Champions League, and he's probably looking at it like this is my last big contract. Yeah, I can get loads of money from United. I've heard they're going to pay him $500,000 a week or something. And that's ridiculous. But he's like one of the best players in the world, and you want to keep him. But you shouldn't be having to keep him based on money. You should be able to keep him based on our ambition, where we're going to go. Winning. We want to win the Champions League too. We want to win the league too. We want you to win the Ballon d'Or. We need to be in them conversations for the Ballon d'Or. You need to be in the quarterfinals, semi-finals of the Champions League final, influencing it. And I think he can do it. It's just, I think we've seen with Bruno, that's brought the best out of him as well. And I think, Cavani, adding in quality, like you say, if we can get, you just said Grealish for Martial. For me, I'd do it. I'd just add in the extra quality. Sancho, if we get Varane as well, for me, then he might more likely sign a contract, because he's looking at the players that are coming in and thinking, yeah, I want to play here. Yeah, we can do something. But, if we don't do that, I don't know. We just think, yeah, I'll just see out my contract and I'll go next year and I'll, go and play with Ramos and all that. Donnarumma at Paris Saint-Germain. They look like they might win and I might be the one who does it. Then I've got my Ballon d'Or, and it's actually good that we're seeing that. We're seeing players who want to play football and win Ballon d'Ors and be the best, and potentially. United need to keep up with that now. Not just be about the money. It's about. Yeah, we can pay the wages, but can we, compete at the highest level?
Right. Yeah, and I'm really hoping the deals that we are currently being linked with, especially Varane or even Kamavinga in this case, if those are true links and we are seriously interested and not being just used as a bait to like get a better deal, say for Varane, as it has happened in the past with Ramos, I think that would be good incentive or good. It would create a good feeling for someone like Pogba to go ahead and stay further, because that would mean a really strong team going into the season. So yeah, let's see what happens.